12 Strangest Cars Ever Sold at Barrett-Jackson. When you think of Barrett-Jackson, you might imagine classic muscle cars or the most luxurious, meticulously crafted, and gleaming vehicles so polished you can see your reflection in every curve. But today, we're diving deep into a completely different world where cars are monstrous, unique, and sometimes unbelievably bizarre masterpieces. From timeless concept cars to insane movie replicas, these machines have captured attention and amazed even the most discerning car enthusiasts. 1971 Kelsen Sports Rider EV, an unexpected profit after more than 4 decades. Let's start our list with a tiny machine that might make you laugh or simply scratch your head. The 1971 Kelsen Sports Rider EV. This tiny 3-wheeled electric vehicle appeared on the Barrett-Jackson Scottsdale 2012 auction block and sold for $1,540. Interestingly, when it was brand new in 1971, its price was $1,295. Yes, you heard that right. A small profit of $245 after 41 years. Not an investment you'd brag about at a poker night, but certainly an interesting story to tell. The story of the Kelsen Sports Rider EV began with a seemingly simple yet ambitious idea in 1960. Manufactured by Kelsen Manufacturing in Stanton, California, this tiny monster was advertised as a street-legal electric vehicle, not just a golf cart with doors. Although admittedly, it looks a lot like a golf cart with a roof and a few doors added. It came fully equipped with a hardtop, bumpers, horn, turn signals, and rear-view mirrors. Everything a real car needed. It even had a hood emblem taken straight from a 1959 Ford Galaxie 300. The Kelsen Sports Rider ran on a 36-volt electrical system with 6 batteries, providing enough power to get through a cul-de-sac. However, you definitely wouldn't want to take it on the highway. This car was produced in limited numbers from 1963 to 1973, and no one knows exactly how many were made. They were sold primarily in Long Beach, California, and through multiple owners. Even the badges and serial numbers changed more often than a teenager's favorite band. One of the strangest things about Kelsen Sports Riders is that they came in many bright, shockingly vibrant colors like Daytona Yellow, Bright Blue, Radiant Red, and Pure White. The one sold at Barrett-Jackson had all the bells and whistles you'd expect from a car the size of a lawnmower. It was sold with only a bill of sale, meaning legally you couldn't drive it on public roads. 1959 Cadillac Meteor Ghostbusters Ectomobile Recreation. Next, join us for a moment that seemed to electrify the entire auction floor as an incredibly familiar car rolled up. It was the 1959 Cadillac Meteor Ghostbusters Ectomobile Recreation. Instantly, a wave of excitement spread through the room. The Ghostbusters theme song probably played in the minds of hundreds of attendees, taking them back in time to the era of classic fantasy comedy films. This was no cheap fan replica. This Ectomobile came from the collection of Dr. Stuart A. Berkowitz, a name with significant weight in the car collecting world. He purchased the base vehicle in 2012, an original 1959 Cadillac Meteor hearse, and spared no expense in transforming it into a Hollywood-worthy replica. The restoration and customization process was carried out by South End Customs in Hemet, California, with the final touches from Ectotech in Jersey. They disassembled the car, restored the Cadillac 390 Ci V8 engine, rebuilt the hydromatic transmission, and breathed new life into it. Then they painted it ghostly white with blood-red fins, applied custom graphics, and fully re-chromed all the details until it sparkled like a nuclear reactor in a thunderstorm. Stepping inside, you'll feel like you're walking onto a movie set. The interior features 2 rear jump seats, racks filled with ghost hunting equipment, tinted windows, and all the gadgets you'd need to capture an ectoplasmic entity. But most notably, a detail that adds historical and collectible value to the car are the signatures of veteran actors Dan Aykroyd, who played Ray Stantz, Ernie Hudson, Winston Zeddemore, and William Atherton, Walter Peck, on the dashboard. This transforms the car from just a replica into a direct piece of cinematic legacy endorsed by the very people who made that legend. With a selling price of $297,000, it wasn't just a car, it was a ticket that took the buyer back to the Ghostbusters era, carrying with it a priceless piece of memory and passion. Whoever bought this car didn't just own a machine, but also a legacy, a story they could tell forever. Bob Hope's Wacky Custom Golf Cart, a caricature on 4 wheels. Have you ever thought a golf cart could become a mobile work of art? You'll surely change your mind when you see the next vehicle, Bob Hope's Wacky Custom Golf Cart. This is certainly one of the strangest celebrity cars ever to roll across the Barrett-Jackson auction block. A wild and heartfelt tribute to one of the 20th century's most beloved entertainers, Bob Hope. Who else but George Barris, the king of customizers, could bring such a quirky vision to life? Barris is a legend in the custom car world, renowned for creating iconic vehicles for movies and celebrities. In the 1970s, when Barris was at the peak of his career, he transformed a basic Cushman golf cart into a rolling caricature of Bob Hope himself. The cart featured a baseball cap-shaped roof, a ski-tip nose, and a comically protruding chin, exactly like Bob Hope's distinctive face. It wasn't just a comfortable mode of transportation on the golf course. It was a mobile work of art, a mischievous joke shaped on 4 wheels, making anyone who saw it smile. The unique features of this cart further enhanced its wackiness and originality. It was equipped with a compact TV, a powerful stereo system, a loud booming horn, and even a rear-mounted camera, so Bob Hope could film his own golf swings. This demonstrates the ingenuity in combining personal entertainment technology into a compact vehicle serving a star's special interests. This golf cart didn't just stay on the golf course. It made its public debut in a 1973 commercial for the all-new Ford Galaxie 500, cementing its place in pop culture history and making it a part of American entertainment legacy. In 2020, this cart was acquired by Dr. Stuart A. Berkowitz, a renowned collector with a passion for strange and unique cars, who also owned the Jokermobile and Gilligan's Island golf cart. By 2025, it was brought to the Scottsdale auction block with no reserve price, and the gavel fell at $66,000. 1923 Ford Model T Jokermobile Recreation. And now we come to a car that could only have sprung from the twisted mind of a comic book villain, the 1923 Ford Model T Jokermobile Recreation. This wild machine was sold at the Barrett-Jackson Scottsdale 2025 auction for $36,300 with no reserve. Just seeing it, you immediately sense the chaos, the wicked humor, and the unmistakable style of the Joker. It began its life as a 1923 Ford Model T, an icon of American mass production, a simple and reliable machine. Then, it was hijacked by TV nostalgia and the boundless creativity of custom car royalty, George Barris's Barris Custom Industries. George Barris didn't just customize cars, he transformed them into pop culture legends, timeless works of art. The story of the Jokermobile is as chaotic and surprising as its paint job. Originally, it wasn't created for Batman at all. It first appeared in Elvis Presley's 1967 film Easy Come, Easy Go as the Mongrel T. This car boasted a powerful, large Ford FE engine, a uniquely customized body, vintage drum-style headlights, and even a Cadillac Batwing air cleaner, a pure blend of 1960s hot rod style. It even had surfboards as seatbacks and shag carpeting inside, creating a relaxed and cool 60s vibe. But Barris didn't stop there. When ABC's Batman series needed a crazy and eccentric car for Cesar Romero's Joker, The Mongrel T was reorganized in a wicked and creative way. Its final form included a Rolls-Royce-style chrome grille at the front, aggressive Raider wheels, and a touch of absolute madness that only the Joker could love. The car wasn't just a vehicle. It was an extension of the Joker's personality, a symbol of chaos and stylish evil. By 2017, the car was revived again, this time by Dr. Stuart A. Berkowitz, a collector with fantastical and unique tastes, who had also purchased Bob Hope's golf cart. The fabrication was done by Keith Dean of South Custom, who preserved Barris's original chaos and faithfully recreated it with original 1920s Rolls-Royce headlights and rare wheels. It is a faithful replica down to the smallest detail of the original. Keith even drove it in the 2019 Hollywood Christmas Parade with Dr. Berkowitz sitting in the back dressed as the Riddler, proving that this car is not just a display item, but a living part of pop culture. 1964 custom-built golf cart, Gilligan's Island Recreation. From the madness of the Joker, we return to fun and unique adventures with an unexpected vehicle. This custom golf cart is a perfect replica of the bamboo taxi that Gilligan built in the famous sitcom Gilligan's Island. Sold in 2025 at the Scottsdale auction, it fetched $16,500 with no reserve, just pure coconut-fueled good vibes. This cart looks as if it were crafted by Skipper himself after enjoying too much coconut cream pie, exuding an innocent and playful feel. Based on a standard electric golf cart, the fabrication of this vehicle was commissioned by Dr. Stuart A. Berkowitz, the same collector behind the Jokermobile and Bob Hope golf cart, and handcrafted by Razorfly Studios in Sylva, North Carolina. The clear inspiration was the quirky bamboo taxi that Gilligan created on the CBS sitcom from the 60s, a symbol of ingenuity and resourcefulness in circumstances of being stranded on a deserted island. In the show, this island taxi was assembled from bamboo, palm fronds, rope, and tropical scraps, intended to transport Mr. and Mrs. Howell in style, or at least as stylishly as possible when stranded on a deserted island. This golf cart had a few famous moments in the show. Gilligan drove it into a swamp. Then they retrieved it, and he even crashed it into a cursed totem pole. Classic sitcom antics that generated laughter for generations. But this replica perfectly captured all that silly charm. We're talking about 100 hours of custom work to create an authentic piece of art with meticulously tied ropes, natural bamboo body, and intricately woven mats. The level of detail is so exquisite that it almost smells of seawater and sunscreen, transporting you instantly to that tropical island. This was no light project. Razorfly Studios took their time to ensure the design was true to the spirit of the show. From the tiny wheels to the hand-wrapped steering wheel, everything was done with utmost care. When it appeared on the auction floor, everyone was amazed. It wasn't as loud as muscle cars, not as fast as supercars, and not even street legal, but it was strangely memorable. No horsepower figures or flashy classic metal here, just pure TV nostalgia vividly on display. With a bill of sale, it found a new home with someone we can only assume owns a collection of Hawaiian shirts and a complete Blu-ray set, someone who truly cherishes the cultural value and memories this car brings. 1968, Lincoln Continental, Animal House Deathmobile recreation. If you remember the movie Animal House, the original Lincoln suffered a lot throughout the film before being transformed into the unforgettable Deathmobile, a tank-like machine, a riot on wheels. It tore through the fictional Faber College's homecoming parade like a wrecking ball in a three-piece suit. But what's worth noting here is the original car was designed by none other than George Barris, the king of custom movie cars. This replica began its life as a 1966 Lincoln, then was dressed up in full Hollywood attire, a turret on the roof, Delta Tau Chi Greek letters, a skull and crossbones, a bust of the fictional Faber College founder, Emil Faber, mounted on the hood, and yes, even bizarre wooden monster tail fins at the back. It was like a frat party combined with a Mad Max movie. Under the hood, it had a 460 cubic inch V8 engine, an Edelbrock intake system, and an air suspension system built by Devious Customs. Just looking at the 20-inch isotope wheels wrapped in white wall tires, you know this car would never sneak up on anyone. Inside, it's a strange blend of ruggedness and luxury. A burgundy leather interior, Dakota digital gauges, a custom dashboard, air conditioning, and that distinctive smell of classic American rebellion. What made this auction even more special was its connection to the film. The car features signatures from cast members like Tim Matheson, Mark Metcalf, and Karen Allen. Are you fascinated by unique cars and the stories behind them? Share your thoughts below. 1978 Plymouth Volare, Fantasy Island Recreation. After the powerful and quirky machines, another lighter yet full of nostalgia car appeared on the auction block for $11,000. It was the 1978 Plymouth Volare Fantasy Island Recreation. This car is a nostalgic tribute to the popular TV show Fantasy Island, where guests came to fulfill their dreams. It was sold at Barrett-Jackson's Scottsdale 2025 auction for a rather modest price, just $11,000. Many might wonder, did Fantasy Island have cars? Yes, it did, at least in the spirit of this car, which embodies the vibe of an entire show. This Plymouth Volare came from a private collection, and it's all about the vibe. More nostalgia than power. Under the hood, it houses a modest 6-cylinder engine paired with an automatic transmission. No roaring superchargers, no aerodynamic wings, just original 70s steel, classic long lines, and distinctive velour seats offering a comfortable and familiar feel. We have to admit, the Volare was never a muscle car legend. It was the kind of car your uncle bought because the dealership had a promotion and he liked the wood paneling. It wasn't the car that made you turn your head for speed, but for its familiarity, a touch of a bygone era. However, in the world of television history, this Plymouth Volare has firmly found its place. It became the face of something larger, the dream factory known as Fantasy Island. At the auction, this car didn't draw cheering crowds like a powerful Hemi Cuda, but you could see fans of the show, those who grew up watching it every Saturday night with their families, humming the theme song under their breath. 1923 Ford Model T Dragula Coffin Car Recreation. In 2025, at the Barrett-Jackson Scottsdale auction, this bizarre monster rolled across the floor and found a new home for $61,600. Just seeing it, you'll feel like you've stepped into a classic horror film. Inspired by The Munsters, the eccentric CBS sitcom that aired from 1964 to 1966, the Dragula wasn't just a wild idea. It was created right in the twisted genius laboratory of George Barris, the king of customizers. Built on the bones of a classic 1923 Ford Model T, this replica faithfully recreated the original car from the show. The in-show story tells that Grandpa Munster created the Dragula from a real coffin to help Herman Munster win back the family's other car, the Munster Coach, in a drag race. This created an interesting lore around the car. Underneath the mysterious coffin-shaped hood it features a bizarre pedal layout to save cockpit space, as the driver sits very deep back under a bubble-shaped plastic dome, reminiscent of a coffin and a spaceship combined, creating an utterly unique look. The organ pipe-style exhaust pipes shoots straight up like something from an old Gothic church, while the coach lamps and tombstone mounted at the front complete the look of a mobile funeral parlor, both spooky and unique. The craftsmanship on this replica is next level. Built by Barris Custom Industries, Keith Dean, and Jim Johnson, with the help of George Barris himself, this monstrous car remains faithful to the original. Every small detail meticulously cared for to perfectly recreate the spirit of the Munsters. Owned by Dr. Stuart A. Berkowitz and acquired from the legendary Galpin Motors in Southern California, this carries the legacy of the original to its core. 1921 Oldsmobile, Beverly Hillbilly's truck. Imagine you're surrounded by luxurious and gleaming cars, and then, suddenly, an old beat-up truck looking like it just crawled out of a remote farm appears. That's the 1921 Oldsmobile Model 46, better known as the Beverly Hillbilly's truck or Jethro's Hot Rod. At the same Barrett-Jackson Scottsdale 2025 auction, this authentic piece of Hollywood history crossed the auction block. If you were a TV viewer in the 60s, you'd know this rickety vehicle, the old truck that transported the entire Clampett family, along with Granny's rocking chair, from their dilapidated shack to the land of swimming pools and movie stars in Beverly Hills. The Beverly Hillbillies aired from 1962 to 1971 and became one of CBS's biggest successes, even though critics initially didn't rate it highly. Built and signed by George Barris, the same genius behind the Dragula and many other iconic cars, this particular truck is one of 5 created. What's special is that it wasn't just for display. This vehicle was used for stunt scenes and exhibitions in the original series, as well as the 1993 Beverly Hillbillies movie. This gives it extremely high historical value and authenticity. Its foundation is a 1921 Oldsmobile Model 46 on a vintage Ford truck chassis. It's a Frankenstein in a different sense, assembled to look as if the Clampett family built it from whatever they had in their barn. Fiberglass and metal parts sit on the original wooden frame, and the details are a combination of rustic ingenuity, creating a patchwork yet distinctive look. We're talking about Granny's medicine barrels, a crude wooden wash basin, clattering cooking utensils, and of course, her beloved rocking chair bolted right to the roof. Everything was placed perfectly to recreate the atmosphere of the show. The truck also comes with mannequins of the entire Clampett family, making it even more lively and authentic than ever, as if they had just stepped out of the vehicle. This particular truck also had quite an interesting journey. It was once part of Ron Pratt's famous collection until 2015 and spent time at prestigious locations like the Hollywood Star Cars Museum and the Peterson Automotive Museum. Flintstone Flintmobile golf cart. At number 10 on the list, we go straight to the fictional land of Bedrock, where humans and dinosaurs coexist, the Flintstone Flintmobile golf cart. But don't worry, you won't need to use your feet to drive this one. This prehistoric masterpiece was custom built in 1994 to celebrate the release of the live-action The Flintstones movie. Remember it, with a stellar cast including John Goodman as Fred, Rick Moranis as Barney, and even the legendary Elizabeth Taylor in her final film appearance. Although the movie might not have been critically acclaimed, it was a box office hit, grossing $342 million worldwide, a resounding commercial success. McDonald's even ran a massive advertising campaign around it. It was truly Yabba Dabba Doo mania. This Flintmobile golf cart sold for $27,500 at the Scottsdale 2025 auction. While this Flintmobile did not appear on screen, it is said to have been built using original molds from the film. So essentially, you are looking at a nearly perfect replica of the car. Fred used to drive Wilma to Bronto Burger, a car with a distinctly prehistoric yet amusing look. The only and most significant difference is that this one has 6 8V batteries and an electric rear drivetrain, eliminating the need to use your feet to run as Fred Flintstone did. However, you still won't win any races as it only reaches a top speed of 9 miles per hour. A spirited bedrock speed, but certainly much faster than having to run on foot. Fred would surely be proud of this convenience. Its construction is entirely fiberglass and fabric, so it's not as heavy as a real Stone Age car and is easier to maneuver. It even has roller-style wheels at the front and rear to reduce weight for passengers, ensuring a comfortable and safe ride. Sliding into this car, you'll immediately feel like Fred, Wilma, Dino, and the whole gang, minus the leg cramps. An authentic yet more comfortable experience. Dr. Stuart A. Berkowitz, who also bought Bob Hope's golf cart and the Jokermobile, purchased this one in 2016. And like the Bobmobile, he kept it in perfect condition. Licensed as a 1986 EZ-Go golf cart, it was auctioned in Scottsdale and attracted significant attention. It even has a custom license plate, Yabato, a small but meaningful detail for fans. Among all these unique cars, 1957 BMW Isetta 300 USS Enterprise Shuttle Pod Recreation. From prehistoric bedrock, we're blasting off to the future, or rather, the far reaches of the galaxy. The 1957 BMW Isetta 300 USS Enterprise Shuttle Pod Recreation sold for $44,000 at the Barrett-Jackson Scottsdale 2025 auction. This was perhaps one of the quirkiest pieces of automotive imagination you could ever find on the auction block. Inspired by the Star Trek universe, this Isetta wasn't built for warp speed, but it sure looked like it could handle a photon torque or two. Designed to resemble a Federation shuttle pod from Star Trek: The Next Generation, it's a tiny bubble car transformed into a sci-fi collector's dream. Originally, the Isetta was a post-war European microcar, small, simple, and efficient, with a single front opening door and an engine that barely produced 13 horsepower. But this replica turned it into something out of the final frontier. The fiberglass shell was painted in sleek Federation gray and white, complete with insignias and decals straight out of Starfleet Command. Custom LED lights, fake thrusters, and even a warp nacelle system built around the rear panels made this microcar a moving tribute to Gene Roddenberry's vision. Inside, the detailing was meticulous. The dashboard was reworked with mock Starship controls, digital gauges, and blue lighting. Sitting in this car felt like being in a command pod awaiting warp clearance. While it might not break the sound barrier, the amount of creativity that went into it is enough to make any Trekkie proud. For fans, it's not just a car. It's a piece of Star Trek fandom brought to life on 4 wheels. 1954 Pontiac Bonneville Special Recreation. Finally, we close this nostalgic lineup with something that wasn't just fantasy. It was an icon of American automotive dreams. The 1954 Pontiac Bonneville Special Recreation is a stunning recreation of one of the rarest and most significant concept cars ever produced by General Motors. The original Bonneville Special was introduced at the 1954 GM Motorama show, where it represented the dawn of futuristic American design. Sleek fiberglass body, bubble-top canopy, and the promise of jet-age motoring. Only 2 were ever built, one green, one bronze, and both remain priceless museum pieces today. This recreation, built with incredible attention to detail, pays tribute to that lost era when car design was art and optimism had chrome bumpers. Built using the same fiberglass body techniques and hand-formed aluminum trim, this recreation took years to complete. It's powered by a Pontiac straight-8 engine mated to a hydromatic transmission, capturing both the sound and feel of the era. From its bullet-style tail lamps to the wraparound cockpit canopy, every inch of this car screams 1950s Americana, when cars look like they could take off into space. At the auction, it stood as a symbol of craftsmanship and nostalgia, a reminder of when America was obsessed with rockets, dreams, and design that had no limits. And that wraps up our journey through the strangest cars ever sold at Barrett-Jackson, machines that prove creativity has no limits. If you enjoyed exploring these incredible stories with us, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to You Remember for more deep dives into the fascinating world of forgotten designs, pop culture legends, and automotive history.